Part 4 of the ZBrush video tutorial series, Creating the War Sloth. In this video, we're going to take a look at starting to define our base topology. Now, by going back down to level 1 and turning on the polyframe option, you can see I'm missing key edge loops, such as around the mouth or around the eyes. They're going to be critically necessary to control the form if I wanted to animate this. And that's something that I'm able to create very quickly by sculpting to get that form to look like it should, but it's not going to animate correctly unless I redefine it. To do that, I'm going to use a Z-sphere again. Once I've drawn this out, I just want to make sure I clear out the rest of my background document. I'm also going to change my background document settings in just a second as well, so that we can see the Z-sphere a little bit better on the small screen when we're working in a low contrast situation. So just going to change the background, center, and rate, and all these variables, just so it's a little bit more visible for this presentation. There we go. And in the Z-sphere tool palette, we're going to go in these subpalettes for rigging, topology, and projection. Under rigging, I'm going to choose Select Mesh and choose my model, the War Sloth. Under topology, I'm going to choose Edit Topology, and that Z-sphere is going to look like it's disappeared, except there's actually going to be a little point at the very center of my model, which will still be visible. I'm going to turn on my Activate Symmetry under the Transform palette. It's going to allow me to make sure that I'm creating my topology symmetrically, which is in 9 times out of 10 what you want. Doing this, you'll see I'm able to just click and place new vertices to draw the topology. Every time I click to create a new edge, I'm making sure I deselect the vertex which I'd previously connected to by clicking outside of the model. Now that can be very hard to see here, so I'm going to keep doing this and continue illustrating the point as we go. I'm able to, with this Edit Topology function and the Draw tool, very simply draw on top of my model the topology that I want. And again, it's click to create the vertice that you need. And then you can even use the Move tool to move some of these vertices around. I'm going to jump on and work a little bit on the face. And one of the things I mentioned earlier is I really wanted to start out defining the edge loops for the eyes and the mouth and the ears, all these little areas which are very crucial to have correctly in an animation. And so I'm going to make sure I actually draw loops around this, loops mimicking the underlying muscle structure of, in this case, the orbicularis oculi muscle that we at least have on the human form. And again, I'm going to turn each one of these into quads as I draw out these loops. This is a very similar process to what you could actually do inside a program like Maya, where you could take a base model, make that mesh live, and then use the Create Polygon tool on top of it to make new topology. But as you're going to see in a bit, ZBrush has one really distinct advantage to that form, which we'll cover in the next video tutorial. I'll continue working across the head, and I'm just going to link these up to the center line. When you have symmetry turned on, it sort of automatically finds that center line for you, which again is a great benefit because it lets you know that you're working symmetrically. I'll work down here towards the mouth, and again we'll kind of work around the nose a little bit also. Always looking to make sure we have the loops where we need them, so you'll see me drawing in sort of a loop structure. And always coming back to make sure these are quads. Making connections now between the nose and the eyes. Again, I click to make a new vertex, and I'm just going to keep clicking around the form till I can connect this to the original vertex, and then I click off of the model to deselect it. Same process it is the entire time. I'm going to start doing some definition now on the back of the neck. Again, I click on a vertex and I'm just drawing out squares. You see click, click, connect, and I click off. It's the same process. The click, click, connect, click off. The last step we're going to take under part 4 of this video series is that under Adaptive Skin, I'm going to hit Preview. And that's going to show me the progress that I've made so far in retopologizing this model. But if I go down to Projection and then hit Preview, notice that it casts all of the detail from my original sculpt into my new model. And that's going to be very beneficial to me. In part 5, we'll pick up with finishing the topology.